expert. My company is Black Series Edition LLC with Gunmetal Crystal Age Technology screens, and the new company coming under the VPL. VPL. My goodness, what the heck am I? Sorry, brain didn't work there for a minute. I'm tired. FLE VT Technology. This is actually one of the surfaces we had sitting up in the window over at the place where we're doing our demonstrations at. This is a darker version of it. Sorry about that, people. That's a darker version of that technology right there. So basically, yeah, it has front and rear capabilities. Of course, we tested this stuff all over that building. But I got some Picos coming in because I think I want to do the demonstrations for the new FLE technology on Pico projectors. Because again, what better way to show off an FLE technology on projectors that pretty much people don't even, well, people just use these things in the dark anyway. Mostly they use the Pico projectors in the dark because they don't do well on white or gray screens, as you can see, and fully lit environments. They struggle. So our technology, we usually don't have that problem at all, period. But anyway, yeah. Clean. See how clean it is? Crystal clean. 50 lumens pushed through. Absolutely clean all the way through. And you see how black that surface is right there? So the surface we're working on right now, the formula we're working on right now, basically has the ability to be a little darker than that. I'm gonna put that ink pen right there for a minute. Now see how you can see the ink pen right there? See? So pretty soon we're gonna have it right now so dark that you can't even see the ink pen. We've ever developed this stuff before. Mind you, we've been developing invisible technology 7 years back. I can show you my demonstrations. But yeah, so this is a coating of 2 applications. So a coating of 2 applications would transfer an ink pen. You see the ink pen right there? We get it up to about 4 or 5 applications. Mind you, this is not going to be a screen paint that will ever be sold. This is going to be used for our physical projection screens. You won't even see that ink pen on the other end, which means this is why we have the 4,000, 5,000 projectors, because they're used in rear projection technology. Why? Because we could drop a 5,000 lumen projector at around 3 feet or 2 feet or even 1 foot from a screen, and the image pushes through, but the lamp glare is canceled out. That's how you test your stuff. That's why you have to have oodles and oodles of projectors. All projectors are used for different purposes. So when I see people who have only 1 or 2 projectors, I'm like, how is your stuff even tested? You don't even know if it's going to function right. That's why they put the comfortable 2,000 mark in there, because again, it's a comfortable area to have a projector, especially when you're going to be in an ambient light controlled environment, where if you're using screens that are strictly for ambient light controlled environments, you can't go to commercial. You can't, literally can't go. There's no way in the world you would pull up in any of those environments, because they're not going to turn that environment to a lion's den or a medieval cave. They're not going to do it. You're going to have to be to operate in whatever environment they stick you in. So when we test these screens out, yeah, this is why we drop these 4,000, 5,000 projectors, because they see exactly how much lamp glare is going to push through the screen. That's why they're used for those particular purposes. And on top of that, if you're doing venue projectors, if you even make the statement that you work with venue projectors, you do know that you have to be on massive screen sizes to show that your product works at a massive size, which means they should have been on 250s a long time ago. They literally should have been on the 250, because you have to show that. All right, let me see something for a minute. So as you can see, this is 2-coat application. We're using our 50 lumen Pico projector right here. And it shows you how clear the image transfer is. Now, the reason why I told you that, and I hate to bring them up in this demonstration, but when you put that on your product is front and rear, you can't do that without proper testing, because a rear projection screen can't be rolled on. Can't roll it on, because any imperfections that you're going to have from the roller will transfer to the screen, which means you will see these marks and imperfections pushing through on the other end. This is why I said the product he made was phony baloney, because again, you can't use a roller. You have to spray it in. Because if you don't, you're going to have problems. You're going to have all kinds of problems that are going to pop up if you roll over a screen. We've done a couple of rollover screens to show you what will happen, and you will damage the surface. On top of that, you have to have a clean transfer, which means that if you have any imperfections in the product, the imperfections in the product will transfer to the other side. So it has to be a clean transfer. Very important that you have a clean transfer. And another thing I see too, with rear projection technology, is the lighting in the environment. Usually what they'll do is they'll have the lights behind the back of the screen. They'll have that nice and dark, because if any light transfers to the screen, this will cause the screen to wash out or fade. And I've seen this in a lot of demonstrations too, which again, your screens are going to have to be to take in a ton of light. These can take in 100,000 lux. They take direct hits from it. They can take a direct hit from the sun. Now, can you use a 50 lumen from a direct hit from the sun? No. It's not going to work. You're actually fighting against 100,000 lux. You have to have a certain projector requirement to do that. But other than that, we're getting it down to around roughly, we did at 52. We're getting it roughly at around 36, because we need to use them with the ultra short throws and windows. But other than that, this stuff inside easily can run on anything. But if we're using it for window, ADTECH technology, that's a whole different story. Let me go grab where's my phone at? Now, if you notice that the image, when it pushes through the projector, when a projector pushes the image through, you'll notice that it doesn't produce an image here at all, period. That's because the technology is designed not to go any farther. It lands there, and there, it doesn't hit here at all, period. That's why I said that people who claim themselves developing, that's why you don't see anybody with rear technology really like that, because they really don't understand it all that well. Goose Screen understands. I've seen Goose Screen's rear projection technology. They understand it. But people who try to make it don't understand it. Rear projection technology is very tricky. So the thing about it is the fact that you're going to have it where some people don't even know what projectors to use, first of all, because there's certain calibers of projectors they have to use depending on basically how dark and how light the screen is. If you have a screen that's crystal clear, then you have to use ultra short throw projectors, because ultra short throw projectors bounce off a mirror and then reflect onto the surface. They don't cause any lamp glare at all whatsoever. But when you're using projectors of long throw or short throw projectors, they'll give off a lamp glare which will push through on the other end. Darker screens actually play better on that role, because darker screens can cancel out just about anything that pushes through the surface, because it's literally dark. But if you want a surface that's going to be clear, so you can see objects in the store window, and including the objects going to be showing up, it's going to have to be clear or somewhat very, like a kind of a, can't really tell you that. That'd be giving you too much information. But anyway, it has to be somewhat of a clear surface. And ultra short throws are used for that, because again, ultra short throws will bounce off a mirror, and then they'll hit the screen, and that cancels out the lamp glare from the ultra short throw. But think about it. If you go clearer on the screen, one of the problems you're going to have is, can it land? Which means, can an image land? Which means when you turn to the side, can you still see the image? Because also too, that could plague a screen also too. So the darker screens can pick up on any angle, because again, it's more of a secure landing area for the picture to land. Where if the screen's much clearer, then it's going to be an issue with that. We have figured out exactly how to get a clear image to actually pick up at a 180-degree viewing angle. That's the hard part. And then the other part, which even gets even more extreme, if you have this thing sitting in a window, that's another problem you're going to have, because the window light itself will destroy and diminish the screen, especially direct sunlight. Applying the application to the surface, rollers, extremely bad idea. And if you use a foam roller, smooth roller, anything, the minute you stop and pause on that screen, you just damage the screen that fast, that quick. It has to be something where you can spray the screen, or actually spraying the screen where you have no contact or rolling anything up and down the screen, because this will damage the screen altogether. It won't work at all, period. So yeah, it's a whole lot of stuff that you need to know. Surface application, if you're going to make a surface, it's going to be strictly dark. This technology right here has a shade level attached to it, which means that we can adjust on how dark we want the screen depending on what shade we apply to the screen. As you have the ink pen right here, you can see it crystal clear on the other side. Not crystal clear, but you can still see it due to the fact that this has a 2-shade application. And each one of those shades have to be tested on multiple projectors. Now, the most important thing is you're going to be designing a form of a window technology. then this is where things get a little interesting, because again, you have to show proof that that product can actually work, which means you have to show a timestamp video showing all hours of, I did one, I started off at 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 throughout the entire day until we reached around 6 o'clock, which is around after 6 o'clock, pretty much anything will run. But your peak hours are going to be more like into 10, 11, 12. And then when you reach anywhere between 12, you reach anywhere between 3, 4, and 5. Yeah, that's just when your screen's going to have a really rough, difficult time. So our stuff is all all stamped that we actually did that demonstration. That's why when all those notifications were popping up, we were in there doing the test, which you should be doing. So, and they don't have these tests for you to see. I wouldn't put this stuff on my storefront window. You know how expensive a storefront window is? It's extremely expensive to replace that glass if you damage it. Now, even though we have a surface that we can connect to it, we have some stores that want the entire glass permanently coated. And yeah, your stuff better work. If not, you will wreck someone's window and they'll be taking you to court. Let me see. Now, the reason why I can do these demonstrations on such smaller levels, just because we've done all the big levels. Well, I got a YouTube videos chock full of doing these screens at 100-inch, 120-inch. Heck, I had one in a storefront window, shooting fish through the window. So yeah, we've done this on just about every level. But when I see demonstrations of people doing these little small screens and they've never done larger screens on larger settings, this is disturbing, because again, you don't know how it's going to react. They don't have enough test time on larger screens. They really don't. Let me see something for a minute. Let me see. I gotta go to 180 inch, because it really wants to got it. 180 inch black. Now the other trick is the lens shift trick, which is another thing to use if you're doing a clear glass and you're going to be using, you want a projector a little higher than a ultra short throw at 5,000 lumens. And if you're going to use a big storefront window, and you have to use a long throw projector. If you put the long throw projector in front of the screen, what's going to happen is the lamp glare is going to push through. So how do we do this without basically getting the lamp glare to push through? This is where I tell you at the end of the day, when I explain to people that who talk about this technology, you don't have the experience in the field to do it. You really don't. It's more than just being able to design the technology. You have to figure out how to get the technology to work in different environments. How are you going to get the screen to function? How would you get the projector to function? So basically, if you're using a screen and you have, and the customer has a 5,000 projector, as long as the projector has a lens shift attached to it, you can do this. So what they do is they take the projector and they sit it up on a high platform and they lens shift the image so it transfers down to the screen, which means the image is there, the lamp glare isn't. The lamp glare is pointing in a totally different direction. That's what the lens shift does. That's why lens shift is very important on venue projectors. Anybody talk to you about lens shift before? Of course they don't, because they don't know what the lens shift is for. So basically, you can mount your projector up high and the lamp glare is going to completely miss the screen, but you can direct the image downward to make contact with the surface. They don't tell you that because, again, they had no experience in the field. I've done this stuff dozens of times. That's why we have all these projectors for testing. So another way of being able to use a high-powered projector with canceling out the lamp glare without it making contact with the screen, even if the screen is crystal clear. You just have the projector sitting higher up. That way, when it hits the screen, the image is hitting the screen. If you notice, when we did the theater room, my projector was sitting on a little shelf all the way up. And I was able to take the image and push it down to make contact with the screen, which means I can sit there and I wouldn't have a shadow of my head bouncing onto the screen because the lamp wasn't hitting the back of my head. The lamp was actually being redirected to the top of the screen, but the screen was being pushed down to where I need to see it. You know, that's what I said. Like, when I sit there and say, and I explain to them, I could sit there and have a conversation and say, hey, what's the extended long throw? What does that mean? Extended long throw on a zoom lens. What does it mean? They couldn't tell you. What is the purpose of extended long throw? So you have a standard throw and you have an extended long throw. Which one of those you use for dedicated theater rooms involving a booth? And they couldn't even tell you what that means. Now, you've seen me I don't go to his site anymore because I said he's just, he doesn't know what he's doing. But anyway, it's like having a conversation with a small child. It really is. You can't have a conversation without him ranting and carrying. We don't bother with him. Leave him be in his little corner until we go to court. But anyway, I ask him sensible questions, and he'll just come up with rants and curse words and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, because he doesn't know what he's doing. So if you bump into a customer and the customer is putting in a serious dedicated setup, you have two different versions of a dedicated setup. You have one that has a 235.1, 239.1. That's serious dedication because dedicated setup, because you can't run everything off that screen. I had a couple 235.1s, and I can tell you, you're not running those 16.9 off that on the full screen. No, it ain't gonna work. Top of the heads and the bottom half will be missing. So you can only run movies that are run at the widescreen format for that setup. But what if someone's doing a setup with a booth where basically the projector is inside of a booth, like a real home theater setup? What projector would you use for that? Now, any projector will work. It's going to come down to your lens. What lens is going to work? I got a Sony VPL F836. It has a lens just like so on it. So I had a customer who contacted me, and they just couldn't figure out, every time they put a projector in the booth, when the projector would turn on, it would expand. It'd be hitting the walls. It would hit the floors. It would hit the ceiling. It was all over the place. They couldn't figure out exactly how do we fix this problem. The guy kept going in and buying projectors, and he kept taking them back. And he said, I just can't get this thing to work. It's just all over the place. The reason why it's not working, because you need something called an extended long throw lens. It's a zoom lens. And what it does is it shoots this narrow image across your room, and it makes contact. It'll make contact with your screen without expanding all over the environment. So when I first got one of them, and I thought it was a standard lens, I couldn't figure out why in the world am I sitting here at 12 feet and my screen is so small, like it's so small, and the projector wasn't even expanding out. The farther you pull back a projector, the bigger the image. So I pulled this thing back to 18 feet, and I was able to achieve a 100-inch at 18 feet without hitting anything in the environment. Did the research and found out exactly what it is, and that's how I know about it. So you have to buy multiple projectors in order to learn how they all work. Like if I were to ask them, what's the difference between a Sony VPL F836, 31, and 30? What's the difference between? They all look exactly the same, but each one of those projectors are completely different. What's the difference when they're talking about venue projectors? So what's the difference between the LX and the LW 400s and Chrissy's? What's the difference between the bridge and the projector and no bridge? They can't tell you any of that because they just put down venue projector. We know venue. No, you don't. You don't know jack at the end of the day. A NEC NP1150 is not a venue projector, even though it has the capability to interchange the lenses, because I've had a couple of them. They're not considered venue. They're considered home theater. Oh, yeah. Yeah, at the end of the day, yeah, they don't know. Let's go over here. I'm going to put this at the bottom as we're talking. Let me show you our image here. So you got to know all that stuff from the door. And you got to buy a lot of projectors to know this. It's very important. Can't just put down, I have venues. Because again, what if the customer needs you to troubleshoot his projector and help him out with it? How would you go about doing this if you don't have the experience in the field to do so? You have to know. Same thing like rear projection. You can't be sitting there saying, oh, my stuff is rear projection. No, you can't do that. I'm sorry. Just because it's a thin coating, you can't say it. Anything could go wrong when you put an application down for a rear projection. So these are going to be, this is a coating that's going to be applied to our TV technology. With these TV projection screens we're working on, ADTECH technology. It's also too a coating that we're going to be using for our front and rear acoustic screens that are coming out. This is for our physical screen technology. Also too, the gamers too. The gamers have this technology. It's going to be embedded into them too. Gamers have front and rear capabilities. Now, I was looking at the CUMI. I'm picking that up. The CUMI is 600 lumens. You know, 600 lumens with look on this thing. This is 50. 600 lumens is a cakewalk on this technology. We get 50 to run out here. 600 is nothing. We've done, let me see, on older technology. This would be that black right here. I need to go into my settings and look up. Let me see. I need to get a stand or something I gotta install here that'll allow me to slide my stand back and forth, because I gotta keep moving it from one end to the next on my table. Alright, let's go over here to the screen here. A little bit. Zoom in here. This is my channel. You can always go here. Go up here to the top of the search. See how much research we have done on screen paints and just about everything you can possibly think of. Rear projection screens. This is the technology in rear projection screen. When I tell people, when I'm not being rude, when I explain to Rogers at the end of the day, you do not know enough about rear projection in order to put that in your specification sheet. This is why we never saw any demonstrations in rear projection. We looked for them, we couldn't find any. And the reason why, you know why? Because if he had basically, he probably did try it with the roller and it messed up the screen. If you saw as many times as he tried to roll down the screen and he couldn't get the color correctly, if you pass over a piece of glass that many times, you are going to wreck the screen, especially if it's rear projection. And you've seen with how the surface dried. It had all these imperfections and lumps and all this stuff in the surface, these gritty looks. You can't have that on rear projection. Those imperfections will push through on the other side. So it has to be a clean transfer. That is a silver version of a surface that was coated. I mean, I don't know what size that screen was. This is going back to around, this is quantum light fusion. So you see how clean it is? Has to be extremely clean transfer. Projector is on the other side, by the way. So I have experience in this field because I'm not getting on camera and just talking trash. I have experience. I can go back and show you videos that date back 7 years back where we basically were working on rear projection technology when everybody else was doing something else. We were experimenting with all kinds of stuff. So when the future popped up, hello, here we are. Yeah, because we did all this stuff already. That's on a 2000 lumen NEC right there. We can show you how to build the stands for them because I built that stand. That's the stand I built by scratch. See the angle gain when I turn to the side? It's supposed to come up clean. Rear projection technology again. This was about, let me see, look at our timestamp here. That one right there is 4 years ago. 4 years. So 4 years ago, I was developing, well, actually way before that, I was developing visible technology. As I said before, half the stuff we engineered and designed, you guys weren't even thought of. You weren't even around. Where were you guys at? You weren't around. That's rear projection technology right there. Someone wanted to do a demonstration, lights out, see how the colors would pop. Let me show you another one right here. It's at 720p. This is why we use the older projectors, because again, if we don't want to use these high-end expensive machines at the end of the day, then it's cost the customers too much money. This is front and rear nanotechnology, black technology. This is when we started developing technology that was literally so dark that nothing could push through. You couldn't even see your hand at the other end, but the image could push through. Oh, that's a slideshow. We're doing the slideshow. Here we go. We turn these into Halloween screens. See how dark that surface is? See how close the projector is sitting on top of the screen? So it's designed to cancel out the lamp glare, but also to push the image out at the same time. That's my first house right there. Now there's a projector behind the screen right there. Now the FLE technology, the difference between this and what we have now, can eat sunlight. I'd have never thought a day would come that we had the ability to be able to eat sunlight. You know, that's a dream of every person who develops projection screen technology, to be able to absorb sunlight. Now, if you notice, you can't see anything on the other side of the screen. You don't see the projector. You don't see any of the tables. You see nothing at all. Yeah, we're the first ones who had this technology. Any company that comes up later on, we'll challenge them in court. I got no problem with it. My stuff is time stamped, so I can show you exactly how far we've been back. We've actually developed this stuff before anybody else had it. A black screen that can literally read the projector, but can cancel out 100% of the lamp glare. That projector is the ultra short throw NEC. I think that projector is around 3,000 lumens. Let me see. I'm going to go back a little farther than that. We have, oh my goodness, yes, I remember this baby right here. Now, which one I prefer? I prefer the black technology. Black technology, but then again, we got that lens shift capabilities. We're probably going to bid that stuff into it too on top of that, so you can pick up the contrast of those heavier on the lighter and clearer sprays application surfaces. Keep in mind, this is not going to be available for customer use. Actually, we're deciding today that I will be discontinuing the invisible version of our that technology under the dedicated CINEMAX is discontinued as of today. The reason why is because we have to get ready for the new technology. That's what we're getting ready for. So we're going to discontinue that line, and then we're going to get ready for the new FLE. The FLE technology is not available for customers. It's our technology we're developing for ourselves. See how crystal clear the image comes up? It's got to be clean. So I'll have to put that announcement out that that product will be discontinued. See that? Let me pull this up a little bit for you. Just to show you all that testing that you have to go in when you're developing rear projection technology. You have to have all these tests. If you're not seeing any demonstrations on a rear projection technology, it doesn't exist. And if you do see one, then where's the rest of them? Because there's tons of them that have to be done. You at least have to have anywhere between 300 to 400, at least. You have to, because rear projection technology can be very finicky. All kinds of mistakes could pop up. You have to do thorough testing. That's why when you see people come on there and they show you real quick, fast screen paints, oh, I can make it so and so and so. No, where are your tests? How do we know this thing's going to actually work? Have we learned nothing from testing? Right now, I hate to bring it up, but the freaking, it's all over. I've been in and out of form sites on that car, and it's a perfect example on why you have to test stuff. Rushing stuff will get you in a lot of trouble. Really can get you in a lot of trouble. And we've seen it happen before. People rushing stuff to get things out the door or not having enough testing, and then you're sitting back there after you purchase a product like, gee whiz, they test this? This right here is smoke. This is the first sign of our technology outside being able to read sunlight. So projector's on the other side, screen's out here, and sunlight makes contact with the screen. Now the new FLE we have is far more advanced than that. You should be able to go to the YouTube channel and see the stair steps in the development of their technology. If you're seeing the same thing over and over again and again and again, and nothing's changing, it's the same product, hey, move on. There's nothing new happening there. I find it interesting that we went from doing screens inside to now producing in windows. So, you know, stores and companies are going to have that technology to be able to produce their advertisements right through glass. But what makes ADTECH so different from all the other invisible technology, that it absorbs that sunlight. You have no idea how important that is to absorb sunlight through a storefront window. Because from what I've seen so far in the research, majority of the people who claim to have a screen that can take actual sunlight, it's cloudy outside. Or the sun's on the other side of the wall. It's nowhere near the screen at all. Just because the sun's over there doesn't make your screen direct sunlight. Direct sunlight would mean actual direct sunlight making contact with the screen. So that's not, yeah. And a lot of the demonstrations I see mostly are on cloudy days, massive huge awnings that they will have wrapped around the windows so that way they can block and put as much shade as possible. No, that's not good. Because that means that in order for a company to use your product, they're going to spend some money for that awning to wrap around those windows, and it's going to cost them more money, including the projectors are probably very expensive in order to get it to work. If you're selling something to a company, the last thing they want to do is spend more money. They're already spending money already and investing in you. So this is going, I got to pay for your stuff, and I got to turn around and pay this, that, and the other to get it to work. And you're going to turn them off. That's why in the smoke lounge we went in there, our technology, they paid about $1,400 for our technology, for our containers. They paid $1,400 to have that setup put in there. And then the projectors should not cost them more. All right, yeah, you paid $1,400, but here's the kicker, right? Like the projector is going to cost you around $3,000 for each one. That's $6,000 right there. Those projectors cost that gentleman under $400. That's it. Because we use 720p, Christie LX. No, LX, it was the LW 400s. That's all we needed. That's it. So to find out they got to spend less, yeah, they're happy and giddy about that all day. Let me see. Can we go back further? We had tons and tons of demonstration. Now we're here. This is what we have now. This is ADTECH. ADTECH can produce in fully lit environments. It can produce contrast level. That screen is clear, and it can produce a contrast level because it has something called contrast shifting technology, which allows the screen to pull up darker images from the projector. And that same technology with an ADTECH is embedded in all the other technology we develop, which means if we can make a screen look like that next to a window, imagine what a TV technology would look like on an ultra short throw projector, any projector inside. If you can get a screen to generate sunlight right through it with no problem and produce an image, you can work in any environment you choose. Doesn't make a difference. Heck, you can bounce it off a billboard if you want. So I got this pretty interesting thought that I think I'm going to get me a storefront with a bunch of massive windows from one end to the next. And we're going to use the glass as for advertising, which means companies can advertise their ad space off our glass. Isn't that pretty cool? Turn the entire store into one big billboard because we have the technology. So that means if you know that we can coat the glass because it's, you know, it's ours at the end of the day, or if we decide to rent it, I can basically put a film in there. No problem. Either way, we can do it. And we could basically rent out space to use that glass to advertise. We have to have it in the main section so it's being seen by a lot. But yeah, in order to put your spot there for your company, you would pay us. Pretty cool idea, eh? Yep. What else were we doing here? Oh yeah. This is for Halloween displays. I see people using gray screens. The last screen you want to use is a gray and white screen for your Halloween or any form of display, because a white screen is just going to be standing out there in the open. Any of your floodlights or any of your flashers or anything you have out there, strobe lights, whatever, to haunt that section, it's going to hit the white screen. The white screen is going to become noticeable. It's going to look so fake. When you have a black screen, it can actually submerge itself into the darkness. You won't even know it's even there. Let's show you from here. That's my 2000 lumen NEC projector right there. So we have the image here, showing here. It's funny because when I look back at this kitchen, this is a small kitchen. And I wanted a big kitchen. Now, I got my big kitchen. When I got the other house, a big kitchen, I realized it was so much work to keep that kitchen clean. It wasn't even funny how much work you had to keep a kitchen clean. I mean, you know you got to work, but you got a big kitchen. You have any idea how much work goes into that, to trying to keep a kitchen clean? And then especially when you got white cabinets, oh, gee, I'll never do that again as long as I live. I will never ever get white cabinets, because what they don't tell you is that every time you go to touch the handle, you stain the door right around where the handle's at. Anything you're cooking, whatever, if it splatters or shoots, whatever, it's all over your cabinet. You can easily see it. White kitchens, I don't know how people deal with that nightmare, because man, I had one. I never will do that ever again. White cabinets. When I walked in there, that place it was wall-to-wall cabinets in there. At least about 20, about 20 cabinets in that kitchen. Gee whiz, I was like, oh, this is fantastic. It's beautiful. Every time I wanted to go touch, or if I had food on my hands or anything, even if I had paint on my hands and didn't even notice it, and I touched the cat, it would transfer. You could see it that fast. And then the floors were a kind of a white and gray, kind of a barn yard, kind of a barn door kind of design. And they were also almost near white. And those things were impossible. I had to constantly mop the floors to keep them clean. Never doing that again as long as I live. Yep. Never doing it again. My kitchen got cherry oak. I got the cherry oak. The only thing I changed in the kitchen was I didn't like the kitchen what do you call it? Oh my goodness, the kitchen the cabinet doors. I didn't like them. I didn't like them at all. So I removed them. I told them I removed the cabinet, upgraded them. I got the stained glass. Some of it's on that green glass, and it's got the lights inside. I installed all that in there for them. So that's an upgrade for him, because I couldn't take it. I hate these things so much. I mean, the cabinets are gorgeous. You couldn't stand the doors. So is it inside? It's outside. Yeah, we're outside. You guys can go back farther than that. Let me see. Oh my goodness, I forgot about this. The Tron screen. Yeah, like I told you, you have to have, when I show you demonstrations like on this little small surface here, and we get people that'll come in and go, oh, but you're doing it on a small surface. Have you been to my YouTube channel lately? Do you have any idea how many times I've done this demonstrations on all kinds of different forms of scales? I have so many demonstrations, so much experience in this field, it's not even funny. If I wanted to do a screen the size of a pack of cigarettes, I got that right to do so because I have a ton of work that I can show you to back up my credibility in rear projection technology. All you got to do, you have to type in no particular product, just type in rear projection technology into my YouTube channel, and you will see all the stuff that I've developed under that technology, showing you how to build frames, screens inside, screens outside. We've done it. Is this the cube? I think we had to do a cube outside too. There's the other one. DJ visual effects screens, yeah, we've done that. That's what the other acoustic screen. The acoustic screen we're developing, the 150, does just about everything. It does for acoustics, for DJ, and for you know, for visual effects and all that cool stuff, projector mapping and all that crazy stuff. I'm trying to go back farther than that. Oh, this right here, this is more. That's our stuff now. That's the ADTECH. Let's see. Can we go back farther? Oh, I forgot about this stuff. We did micro mesh. Yeah, we beat the crap out of micro mesh. I've done so much micro mesh, it's not even funny. That right there is micro mesh. The chemical we developed for the micro mesh basically allows the image to appear on both sides. So if you spray one, you don't have to spray both sides. You spray one side and it will transfer through the other side with no problem. So this technology right here we use with the ultra short throws or lens shift projectors. And what this does is this allows an image to be to pull up crystal clear, but also too, you can see objects on the other side crystal clear also. When you look up rear projection technology, this is literally how many videos you should be pulling up. This is why I try to educate the customers. You see somebody come through and say rear projection, and I'm looking for your demonstrations. How many demonstrations do we have here? Like, do we have at least 10? Can I find 10 demonstrations on this product? I can't even find that. Can't even get that. Can't say so. This right here, this is the crazy stuff. These are a surface that's completely ultra black. Nothing transferred to this bad boy but the projector. It will cancel on all lamp glare. You can have 6,000, 7,000, doesn't make a difference. Can't transfer to that screen. That's a 3,000 lumen projector right there. See? Pretty cool, ain't it? FLE has a model of that coming out. An ultra black. That's what we have right here sitting on the table right now. This is a version of that. The separate difference between that won't eat the sunlight. This one will. See how dark that screen is? Lamp glare completely canceled out. The only thing can push through is the image. That's it. And believe it or not, that's old technology. We don't make that anymore. This is all invisible technology. Oh, this is the one right here that gets a lot of hits. So I told you, when people copy my work, they do it all the time. They copy everything we do. The Batman screen by the fellow by the name of Jamie. His screen, the customer screen. Well, yeah, the clear borders. Guess what? You copied that from us. We did that first. There's my demonstration right here. And there's my timestamp. 4 years ago. So the difference is that the screen that was sitting on top of the roof tip was completely washed out because the cinema bars were gone. They weren't even there. And the difference we have here, this is a front and rear black technology. This screen gets us a ton of business. Every time someone pops in and sees one of these things, they go, oh, where do we get this from? Where do we buy it from? See this stand? Built the stand and everything for it. I have people come to contact me. How did you put that stand together? It's very easy to do. Very easy to put that stand together. As a matter of fact, I need to build me a couple of those stands because I got to do some demonstrations on rear. Now, we're used to people copying us. They copy our images. They copy our specification sheets. We're used to it. I mean, you know, when you're in class, you don't copy. If you're trying to cheat and you're in class, you don't copy off the, I'm sorry to say it this way, and I do apologize if I offend anybody, but you don't copy off the dumbest kid. You copy off the smartest because you want to make sure you pass. So that's why we're used to people copying off us. This one right here. Front and rear. No. Like demonstration. I'm gonna go farther back from that. This is all rear technology. These are sevens at them. They have rear. Oh, any technology we develop has rear capabilities. They all have it. We just have to basically just give it the ability to have it. Here we go. 10 years ago. This is 10 years ago. We first started developing rear projection technology. That's what I said at the end of the day, that when I sit there and say that you guys are late to the party, I'm not joking. You're late to the party. We're 10 years, 8 years, 7 years ago, we were engineering this stuff. We're testing it and working on it. You guys were not even, I'm not saying my customers, not the naysayers, that people said that, oh, we had the same. No, you weren't there. How would you understand the technology if you don't have the time to understand the technology? No one understands nuclear physics in like 2 or 3 days unless you have some freaking crazy IQ at the end of the day. But guess what? You're going to travel at the same pace as most people travel that are trying to understand how to read that. You know what I mean? So it takes time. It takes a lot of time to learn all that stuff. You don't learn that stuff overnight. Your experience level in that field doesn't go back far enough for you to know anything. It takes a lot of years to learn it. So if you're gonna sit there and say, from a person, I've never seen a rear projection screen, I have one. I'm curious, like, where are the tests? There's going to be a lot of tests. At this particular time, just to get an image to pull up on glass and pick up crystal clear, this is what we were trying to achieve. So 10 years ago, in the little tiny room, I was in there researching and developing technology. No, this came from God, mind you. I don't have a degree in chemistry. I don't have one. And someone said, you claim, no, I've never claimed to have a degree in chemistry at all, period. I just know all this stuff because all this information is given to me by God. That's how I know all this stuff, like building computers and all that stuff I show you. I didn't go to school for computers. I never did. I learned all that from God. I never went to school a day in my life for computers. Ever. I learned all that from God. Anything you want to do, anything you want to construct, and you need to build all those frames and stuff and building stuff, all that stuff came from God. Everything. Look at this. This is outside. Rear projection screen test outside. Gotta put in those countless hours. You have to. This is how you learn to advance your product, because you gotta put that time in. You learn how to make things better. You gotta be persistent. You gotta be dedicated to it. You will do the same tests and demonstrations over and over again and again and again until you get headaches. You have to know it. Can't just do stuff fast and overnight. This is the reason why when we come against you to buy your products, you guys will cancel out. And these are people that we come against to buy their product. They will cancel out quick when we come to their door because they can't back the product. If you can't back the product against us, then no one's going to buy from you. That's what's going to happen. We have that much of an impact. And if we come to your door to buy your product and you cancel out on us, nobody will want to touch your stuff. Now, if you look at my level of knowledge and rear projection, it surpasses. Let me see. I'm going to look at, have they ever built a curved projection screen? Nope. They don't know how to build a curved projection screen. Curved projection. We figured out how to build a curved projection screen when only using one projector, which is a really interesting trick. Also, too, with that, the 235.1 with the fisheye lens, too, on top of that. Black curved projection screens. By the way, there is one. You want to see something interesting? You see that surface right there? We had that surface years ago, and I mean years ago. See that curved surface right here? I'll show you something pretty cool. Let's first go to black curved projection screens. Does any of them have any information on black curved screens? We do. We designed them already. These are black curved screens right here. That's why I said if we're going to go hit, I don't have the time, but if we're going to go YouTube channel to YouTube channel, who knows more? I guarantee I would easily take you. Easily. We even have a screen called an out curve. You ever heard of an out curve projection screen? We figured out an interesting way of, instead of making a screen curved, let's go in and let's make a screen an out curve. Let's push the screen the opposite way out. Oh, it works fantastic. But you have to be able to adjust it just right, because it's too much and you won't be able to see from left to right. So this is a black curved projection screen. The problem with when you deal with people like that, they have to pick and choose their battles. They can't be on all battles on the battlefield. They have to pick and choose. Pick and choose don't go too well. You have to be to do everything. This is an out curved screen. So the screen is stretched just enough where you can see the left and right with no problem. So if you stand in front of it, you can see left and right, but it looks like the image is moving back and forth. It's fantastic for 3D applications. People come to our channels to get ideas on different stuff, because we designed all kinds of stuff. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be showing off a liquid projection screen again soon. On top of that, we have a liquid projection screen made out of liquid. Still trying to figure out what we're going to do with that thing. Gives it a 3D effect without wearing 3D glasses. Fantastic for mech simulators, driving simulators. It's fantastic. But you have to know the correct way to bend the screen so you get the image from left to right. Because if not, you get too much to the left, it throws it off too much to the right. It has to be just right in that center piece. And you still have to be to stand at the center and see from this side to this side, but the screen has to be curved enough so it gives it that kind of like 3D kind of effect. Now see how I'm standing in the center, and I can see from left to right. Pretty interesting. No, you learn new stuff. There's my curved projection screen right there. That's a finished one, already done. That's on a 720p projector. No 4K, no 1080p required. So that's why when you get people sit there and saying how I don't know anything, are you kidding me? Really? Seriously? You want to challenge my what I know in my head, what you know in your head about projecting screens? I can pull screens out you guys never even seen before. For my customers, well, that's the reason why they buy from us, because we have our knowledge, and basically in designing this stuff, man, is unbelievable. You know, we're blessed by God. So we had this curved screen 8 years ago. 8 years ago, right there. Mr. Rogers, you weren't even thought of. You didn't even exist. Silent Wake 5, you didn't even exist. I think Jamie might have been around. I think he was around. Yeah, Jamie was around. Jamie was around. But those two, you didn't even exist. And keep in mind, when we're developing these screens, Jamie still has the same products from 5 years ago, from 6 years. No change at all. Nothing at all. No change. Nothing new. Same great products. Nothing at all. Nothing at all, period. We got gunmetal technology that dates back to 5 years. About 5 years, 6 or 7, 5 years. D4K, yeah, about almost 6, 7 years, yeah. And gunmetal technology. Here we go. Remember that surface I showed you there? Oh, it's going to blow your mind. It shows you how far we go back on developing technology. See that curved surface right here? This flexible fade surface I have right here? All right. Let me show you. Let me figure out where this thing is at. There's the out curve. Let me see. It would be under, is it nano? It would be under nano. Let me see. Nano panel screens. Nano panel screens. Pretty sure it's under nano. Let's see. Nano. Those are out curves we're showing in there. Nano panel screen. So you can find the nanos. This is everything under panels. Any panel we ever develop, this would be, it'd be in here. Yeah, a lot of testing. As you can see, a lot of testing. Nano 4K. This is it right here. This is a future tech 4K nano, so we know exactly which one it was. That's a nano panel. That technology is a flexible surface. I'm gonna look this up right here. It's under by Future Tech. Copy that. So I track that thing down. That screen's had an interesting feature. We never got around to building them. I might bring them back out under FLE Technology. I'm thinking about it. And the panel system was pretty nice because you can actually piece together your own screens. That's a Nano 4K Tech. That screen's running off a 720p projector. It's actually a panel. You piece them together to actually make bigger screens. Just never got around to finishing it. Other things came up. Now the technology we have now, yeah, we can bring this back with no problem. Because it was an interesting way on how they had to be applied, and they were headaches to do. They could piece together seamlessly. You wouldn't even see anything at all, period. Oh yeah, this is a technology design that actually a silver screen that can produce a white level higher than white. You can look it up. All this stuff is in here. Everything we worked on, everything we designed. There you go. I'm going to tell you about the flexible surface. Yeah, told you. Did it already. We designed it. Way before anybody else had it. We had them first. That's a flexible panel right there. You can bend it, roll it up, whatever. Now we have wallpaper technology at 106 inches. So I basically take the back of the screen to show that the screen is very flexible. Look at the coating on it. Remember I told you about that that onyx gold coming out? It has that kind of technology embedded into it. So this was how many years back when we were working? We had this technology. This was around 6 years ago. There's our time stamped. 6 years ago, we've had that technology. And now I see people pop like, oh, hey, check out this new stuff, so and so and so. Been there, done it already. Moving on. Let's move on. We don't even make that anymore. Actually, I may make another panel. I'm thinking about it under the FLE technology. Why not? So the question when it comes down to is the fact that who copies who? Of course, they copy us because, again, we had all this stuff. We can go back 5 years, 7 years, 8 years, 9 years, 10 years and show you technology we were working on a long time ago for anybody else. Rear projection has been out for quite some time. We just made the advanced versions of it. That is a 2 feet by 3 feet panel right there. And we had it in black, we had it in gold, and we had it in silver. As I said, we never did anything with it. All right, getting back to our world here. I do that because, you know, maybe it's just me at the end of the day, because I'm the kind of person who likes to always back things up. That's the kind of person that I am, you know. I don't like to talk trash on camera without backing it up. That's just me. We don't make it up over here. So, you know, if I show you a demonstration on this little surface right here using our Pico projector, that's why if I did this little surface right here and I did it at a 5,000 lumen projector, yeah, okay, I would have to have, the environment would have to have a ton of light. We've done invisible with this surface right here, but we have to have it like in a window. We have to have it with a ton of light to show that basically the odds are against the screen. Where if I'm doing this demonstration here, I'm using a 50 lumen projector because for using like 5,000 or 4,000 watt projector, it's overkill. Even 2,000 lumens is overkill for this setup right here. It's suitable because the projector is only 50 lumens and we're about a good maybe about 4 feet from the screen. So yeah, it's suitable for it. But if I dropped a more high-powered projector on this, no, that'd be cheating a little bit right there. But when I come to do these demonstrations, we always get the naysayers who come in and go, oh, but your size is so small. Do you have any idea how many demonstrations I've done on rear projection technology and how many different sizes I've already achieved and what I've done? So that's why I can go to my YouTube channel, type in rear projection technology, and boom, all this information pops up on all the research we have done. Compared it, and I've done this already, go to their channel and type up stuff, and we can't find nothing in there, but nothing but hatred toward me, but that's it. That's as far as it goes. I want to go over here and I want to get 4K Snow Screensaver Cottage. And there we go. White level transfer. Boom. You have to be clean. It has to show up. Mine, this is going to go in someone's storefront window. You know, it has to be clean. It has to push through. Very important that it works. That's why all this testing is important. That's why I was so happy to have that opportunity to work in that storefront window, because again, this gave us the opportunity to be able to test the technology on an actual storefront window with actual sunlight pushing through. We were able to achieve everything we needed to achieve in that building. So I guess they felt in the day, by trying to get us pushed out of that area and making trouble for us, you didn't get anything. You got no victory. We got the chance to walk through an entire building, do all our demonstrations, and advertise the ADTECH. As a matter of fact, you did us a favor, and I'll tell you why, because we almost sprayed that stuff to the window. And God knew at the end of the day, the reason why I ordered the paint sprayer when it came in was to spray it to the window. And if we had sprayed that technology to the window, gee whiz Louise. Yeah, we not that we couldn't have made anything else, but still, what this stuff does at the end of the day is freaking insane. So yeah. And you get no victory, Satan. Well, let's do a let me see. Let's do a wormhole screensaver. That's the one we did on the glass. So this is also I wanted to do a desk. I was talking to a friend of mine. He does that kind of work. He does carpentry and all that crazy stuff. He builds a lot with his hands and stuff, with wood and stuff. And I was bringing it up to him. I said, hey, look, I want to make these like crazy gamer desks, you know, and it has speakers. And, you know, I was showing him how we coat the entire top. And he says, no way, like that whole entire thing is a projector. Yes, it is. He, dude, the stuff we can do. So that person, I would think about basically doing a partnership with. I've known him for years. And on top of that, this would be cool because he builds some crazy stuff. On top of that, he's a welder. Yeah, he can make your desk out of the steel desk with glass and all that stuff. Yeah, he's a welder. He's a master welder, boy. He's good. So he's going to help me out with some projects that we're working on, because I got some desks going for myself. Remember I told you about how I wanted to do a desk with plexiglass, and we can put these projectors, which is actually those projectors over there. They have this adapter piece that allows it to connect to the side of the desk, and it pushes the image right up through the table. So imagine having a table that you can push images through. Oh, we got some pretty cool stuff we're going to be developing with this technology. But those people that, since he works with he's a welder, there's also a couple of things I brought past him too. I actually want to build a couple of gaming simulators, because again, we have invisible technology. If you're doing a gaming simulator and with a projector, that's kind of hard to do, because if the projector's in back of you, it's going to basically push your shadow right on the screen. But if you have invisible technology, like we showed you in there, ultra dark, we can have the projector sitting up and right in the front. He could design a stand where the projector can sit, and right we can hit the back of our screens that will push an image right to the other end. So instead of you gaming on those little tiny monitors, you can now game on 150 wraparound. We do things differently. Because you know why? I want it for myself. Chances are most of the stuff that you see me advertising is because I want it for myself. Look at it. Whirlpool up here. And they go through, woo, whirlpool down there. Oh, by the way, you can project your mat right with this stuff too. The scanners will pick it up with no problem. Let me see. That's my light coming from off of there. This is what the new future of technology, especially in your ultra short throw projectors that you spend all this money for. You know, it's interesting because these companies that make these fake knockoff projectors, you know, I can't stand those companies. I really don't like y'all at all, period, because y'all projectors are fake. We don't support y'all at all, period. This is going to be pretty interesting that when we launched the TV technology of this stuff, and how amazing people's projectors are going to look on this technology. And those of you who bought those IWA and Valva and projectors, we don't support them at all, period. Yeah, their projectors are not going to do too well. Not going to do too well. The fact that we don't support those projectors at all, what are they going to do? They can't go. People buy those projectors can't go near this technology at all, period. So what's going to happen is they're going to get rid of those projectors, going to buy name brands. The shift of technology, isn't it interesting? Now right here, being trapped, not being saying trapped so far, but being here in this section right here online, this is why I said when I was doing the on-site, man, we got so much business for on-site because people were seeing it. It was there every day. They were watching it every day. And now with the new setups we're going to be doing, we're going to be going to different areas all around. We found dozens of places that will let us rent out cheap too, very good price. If we can go in there and set up equipment and do the recording right in there and get a ton of business. Yeah, 30 different buildings up here we're going to be in and out of. On top of that, they have a couple of big expos up here, and we're going to be set up for our booths and stuff like that, showing off this technology. So, yeah, a lot of money, a lot of revenue. On top of that, a lot of advertising to get our technology where it needs to be. And as I told you before, when that TV technology launches, I have special gifts for the certified screens. I will be sending each and every last one of them. If we can send it where it needs to go, we're going to send you a free screen. So you can see the future of our technology, because there's no point in basically showing off technology if you can't rattle the cage a little bit. So we need them to see exactly what they're up against. And we definitely, hey, we know what you're going to do. They're going to take their Surface. They're going to take their best screen that they possibly have, which we already done the test on, so we know what's going to happen. And they're going to stick it against that technology. And then what's going to happen? And it's going to cost them. They're going to be contacting us like crazy. Offers are going to be popping up left and right. The ability to sell out will be there, but we're not taking it. I have other plans. I'm not selling out any way whatsoever. That's how you wake up the system. You send out that technology to everyone. They can get it for free. We send it right directly to them, and we know what their reaction is going to be. They're going to underestimate the screen, and they're going to see what that screen can do. They're going to get the same reaction I got when a diamond sat against my old screen paints back in the day. Same reaction. It's going to push them to fight harder to build a better screen. The problem is that even if they do have black technology, they still can't take us due to the fact that we have years of experience far beyond them. And then on top of that, our price point. They can't come down to our price point. Their capital would implode. You charge $3,000 for a gunmetal screen. You think they're going to turn around with a black screen and charge you under $500 for one or under $2,000 for one? No way in the world. They can't do it. On top of that, this is going to basically screw some things up for them too, because on top of that, if they've been saying gunmetal screen produces a black level, how can you say gunmetal screen produces a black level when you have a black screen that produces a black level? Something like that right there. So you're going to remarket, re-advertise, rebrand. There you go. So it's going to cause a shift in the system. That's what it's going to cause, a massive shift in the system. What's the point of designing projectors with amazing, insane amount of contrast levels if the screens are physically black? Why would I go out there and give you $3,100 for a machine with a 2 million to 1 contrast when a 720p over there can't tell the difference from one from the other, and it pulls up an infinity contrast level on a black screen? Oh, but this projector pulls up a 2. I really don't care if it pulls a 2 million. My screen's black. What would that do me any good at the end of the day? There you go. You can't put that in there anymore. That won't even work. Outdoor projection screens are all white. I see these on YouTube, not YouTube, but on Amazon. They'll show this white screen, whole family out there. You know it's a lie. And they're all sitting out there and the screen's working perfectly fine. It's all bright and beautiful. That's a lie right there. That's not real. It's false advertisement. Our technology gets out there, that's going to put an end to white screens. Because now venues and companies and businesses and stuff like that want to do outdoor expos and all that stuff, they'll go near the black technology. They won't even touch a white screen. And then, like I said, sooner or later, it'll get to a point where you'll have a category of black screens. Not only me, but other people just like me. That's the shift in power. It's called the pecking order. I should have thought about this, but that didn't come to me. I wasn't ready for it. It wasn't our time yet. I'd look at it this way. God has a time for everything. It's just not your time yet. It wasn't our time to do this yet. Now that we have this kind of technology, the next level right now is to basically to get the product out there and get it marketed as much as possible. And what better way to shake up the system than to send the certified screens our technology? They can't touch it. They can't do anything about it. That's why we're paying the money for the lawyers, for the patents and copyrights and trademarks and everything to lock these screens in, because we're sending them out for free to these companies because we know how they're going to react. And they know who I am, by the way. I wouldn't be surprised now if they weren't working on a black screen. So they're going to have to do something, because again, the price point of one of our screens versus one of theirs is not good for them. Can't charge $5,000 for a screen when you got a screen paint that can do it for under $500. How are you going to compete with that? And there's so much of our technology, they can't catch up. And they're trying to compete with one screen. You know how many different screens we have under FLE technology? They can't catch up. And we pretty much are going to raise the bar so high that they can't catch it. Or they're going to have to work extremely hard to get it. That's another point too. Which means, all in all, this comes down to one thing. It comes down to a better product for the customer. Our fight and our battle back and forth with these certified screens. Now, you great screen paint makers, we don't consider you in your category. It's certified. With these big companies, at the end of the day, works better for the customers. If we decide to sell out and to be just like them, to charge all this money for our screens, then that means at the end of the day, that means that you guys have to fight even harder to get better technology. If we bring our technology to a price point where everybody can afford it, this obsoletes the big boy screens, because they have to fight harder to design a technology to match ours and better than ours, which is going to be interesting to watch. But on top of that, they still can't bring down the price point. I mean, it's going to cost too much of a conflict. Now, if another company comes up and they have good black technology, am I worried about that? No, because I'm too far deeply rooted in order for anything to phase us. We're good. We have built up a product line for years. We're good. Our credibility and our knowledge and our technology and basically everything we have that comes from our Lord and Savior, we're too busy, we're too deeply rooted. But I would like to see other technology, black technology, basically pop up. And I mean good technology, nothing fake or phony, real black technology. The reason why we need the other black screens to come into play, I'm not worried about competition at the end of the day. Competition is the least on my mind right now. I told you before, no man and nobody can take bread off our table. Only God can take bread off my table. That's it. And since all our technology is developed by our Lord and Savior, we will never, ever go broke. We will never have what we don't need. We will always have what we need, because God gives us everything we need. There could be 40, 50, even 1,000 companies that develop black technology, and we'll still have bread on our table. It doesn't make a difference. The point is to usher in black technology into the projector community. Because if all screens were black to begin with, your projectors would be much cheaper. You wouldn't be spending all this money for this 2 million, 5 million, 50 million in one contrast and all this other stuff, which you literally don't need. Now, showrooms, I do want to invest money in for the company. I do want to do like a dedicated theater room with a black screen. I want to do a dedicated theater room with a black screen and have it where the system brings down the screen. So we'll have a white screen come down and it will show a dedicated setup. And then the white screen will go up and then another screen will come down, which will be the black and then gray and stuff like that. Where you can see the light reflection popping up all over the place. Yes, sirree, I got plans. Put this up somewhere so Taco don't jack it up.
Taco's always jacking up stuff, I swear. I don't mean to, I'm just curious. I'm just curious, that's all, I'm just curious. I rub your face on everything. I'm just curious, what is that? What does it do? What does this do?
I swear, I can imagine Taco being a building inspector. Man, that place would blow up, man. He'd be like, what does this button do? He's always curious about how things work. What does that do? What does this do, mister? What does this do? What does that do? What's that for? What's that button? Don't touch it. Do not touch that button. Like, don't touch it. And you're like, Yeah, the cats will make horrible building inspectors. "4K demonstrations." This is the FLE paint on the desk. But yeah, me and my buddy were talking about that. We just basically doing some brainstorming. And I was asking, could he build like, he's good with a plasma torch. He said, yeah, I'm a master plasma. He's good with we're using the torch and all that. So I was looking at some of the stuff and sculptures and stuff he designed and stuff, pretty cool stuff, right? So I didn't know he did that with the torch. I already known him for basically doing woodwork. So we want to build some customized desks embedded with this technology. Man, this would be freaking cool. This would be cool if you do like Dungeons and Dragons. You got those board games that you have to basically constantly change out the board games. When you have a projector over top of you, you can see your shadow popping up. See that? But with the screen, if the projectors are built underneath, then that means bottom line is you can change out your board at will and even basically get effects to go off while you play, which is pretty cool. I also found out a way that basically how they put the sensors in the board and on the screens to make the screens touchable. Somebody showed me that in Australia. Over there, they were doing a floor and they wanted to basically make one of those sensor floors, but the problem was that finding a screen that they could walk on without damaging it and having a screen they could pull up in a fully lit environment. And this is where our technology came in, because we coated those mats, those gym mats, and we turned them into projection screens. And you see me walk on this thing constantly back and forth, and that's what they contacted us. So trade for trade, how do you guys get those sensors to work? How do you get the screen to become touchable? So basically, they still paid for the product, but they didn't have to pay as much because they gave me some much needed information that I needed. How do you make the screens touchable? And now I know how it's done, which I'm not going to tell you. I'm really not going to tell you how it's done, but you can figure it out. You look it up, but it's pretty interesting how it's done. It's pretty cool. But anyway, this basically will allow us to make screens touch and touch control, which I want to do with these new gaming desks, because we're basically, the gaming technology we're working on, it's going to be way, way, way beyond what we're going to be doing with that stuff. The Leviathan, Sugar Plum Fairy, all those things we're designing, these things have entire showrooms developed for them. We have free merch coming out for them. You're not paying for this, by the way. All the merch is free. It just comes with your screen. So you have a choice of what you want to pick, sunglasses, you want to pick out mouse pads, water bottles, stuff like that. Now, we may have a couple of t-shirts. We might do t-shirts and stuff like that. And maybe if we do decide to have something where it's sold, I'm not doing any t-shirts. I'm doing jerseys, like hockey jerseys and stuff like that. I do want myself a hot Leviathan jersey. It's going to be sick with the hat to match with it. Told you that's why we brought on board the graphic designer, because she's going to be doing a lot of work for us. And the gamer screens, we're going to basically have desk, because I do want a desk with that technology embedded into it. So we're going to put, he's going to put in docking stations for your computer, docking stations for RetroPie, even a docking stations for the projector. So we don't have to worry about buying the stands from a third-party company. He's going to build the stands. Mine, he's a welder. So he's going to put all that together. And we're going to work on this project. This is like later on in time. These are ideas we're just shooting for. All right, so we're going to definitely discontinue the invisible version of it as of today. So we're not basically accepting any more orders for that, but we're going to get ready to start showing off some of this technology, because we really have to get to that. We really do. And I got all the other equipment ready for me to be able to go out and do my demonstrations in these different areas I want to be at. We're doing our demonstrations at. I do want the areas to change, which is very important for our demonstrations. What else? Yeah, so all the technology under FLE will be a limited edition product. Some will be rare, limited editions. Certain screens are rare and certain screens are not. Because again, like I said before, I don't want to make tons of this stuff. I got to figure out exactly what does a machine produce? How much does a machine produce at the end of the day? So I have to figure all that out. And yeah, go from there, pretty much go from there. So a lot of work, a lot of stuff that has to be done. Do I have sound for this? What kind of sound? I think these guys feel at the end that I'm putting them down. Well, look, here's the thing. If you take it the wrong way, then basically you take it the wrong way. Y'all don't have enough tests. I'm talking about the naysayers that make these products. You literally don't have enough tests. I'm not saying this to try to like, what's the word for it? You think I'm coming at you about this and the other? No. What you did to me, we settle that in court. But other than that, business is business. It still continues on. So you have to understand, when I tell you you don't have enough tests, you don't have enough experience, you don't have this. I should literally be to go to your YouTube channel and type in just about anything that I need, and it should pop up showing something, some kind of test. I can't find anything. That range gain, that stuff doesn't exist. Rear projection on your products don't exist. Heck, I can't even find any test demonstrations on it. On the other fellow, I can't find any tests on any of your products. Nothing there. So it just shows me at the end of the day, you guys were just slapping stuff together, putting fake specifications together, and that's what you're doing. That's why I'm challenging your companies in court. Because you guys have been basically advertising a lot of nonsense online. And you should have been. You could have been committing fraud. That's why I'm challenging your companies. There are two separate lawsuits. The personal lawsuit, which we're taking toward them, and then the challenge toward their companies is another lawsuit. So that involves the FBI, because we did basically put your companies in a complaint department with the FBI for your companies. It's actually in there. Because again, you're doing things you shouldn't be doing. A website that's basically advertising false information is extremely dangerous. Because again, that website goes everywhere in the world. And if your information is incorrect and you're lying on there, you're lying to everybody. You're ripping people off. I tell anybody, before you buy a rear projection technology, make sure that the person who's making this stuff has experience. If I go to Goose Screen does rear projection technology. They got tons of videos on rear projection. Demonstrations of them painting the screens in, everything. You go to any company that does rear projection, you will see all this information on rear projection. They know what they're talking about. But when we can't find one video and you just have front and rear, that's it. There's supposed to be more information to that. Gotta break it down. So what projectors am I using with the crystal clear? Is your images come up crystal clear? Am I going to get spotting on the other end? If I'm going to get a perfect image? And the first minute when he said rollers, I knew you didn't know what you were talking about. You never roll on a rear projection screen. You'll mark your screen up. That's like using foam rollers. Foam rollers on screen paint, have you lost your mind? You will streak the daylights out of your screen. Never use foam rollers. Those 3-inch and 4-inch rollers. Yeah. You're using a 4-inch and 3-inch roller to paint 120 or 100-inch screen, you're going to mess your screen up. Using paint brushes and all that stuff, no, you mess your screen up. So, yeah, they should know all this. And it shows you haven't done the research. You got to do that research. Very important. You got to do that research. Where's that other one? Oh, I want to do this one. Nice. I want to do this one right here. So it's not where I think they get it mixed up. They think for some reason I'm doing this because I'm angry. No, I'm not angry towards you. I don't give the devil that satisfaction at the end of the day. I don't let him fill me up with hatred and all that stuff. We've already going to resolve the issue. Any problems that I have with you, we'll bring it to court, and that's how we're going to settle it. But other than that, outside, business is business. If you're doing something that you're not doing correctly, yeah, I'm going to call you on it. And you do not have enough experience in the field. I can literally say that because I've spent time out of my day to go through your websites, to look up your products, to look for reviews, to find customers, to find testing, and I found nothing at all. Got it time stamped. It was right there on my YouTube channel. Did the research, went through, spent almost an entire day going through everything with a fine-tooth comb and couldn't find anything. So, again, where are your tests? No one's going to buy an untested product. Because the outcome of it can be bad. What are you doing in here, sandwich boy? Sandwich boy! Sandwich boy. Sandwich boy. Sandwich boy. Like sandwiches. Sandwich boy. Sandwich boy. Boy. Taco's so weird, I swear. It's at my sister's house. And they got hoagies. Don't like the meat. Don't like the cheese, but you would think because of the cat. He likes the bread. He ate the bread. He got the name Sandwich Boy. That's weird. Like, and it's weird thing about Taco. I'll tell you, funny thing about him. You could give him tuna fish. He'll eat it, but you got to bring it to him. He will not walk over there to you. And if you set it on the floor and go, here you go. No, he won't touch it. You got to pick it up and bring it to him. He's interesting. He's a diva. But yeah, call him Sandwich Boy. Got some hoagies. And I thought he'd eat the meat. He ain't touched none of it. All he ate was the bread. That's weird. Sandwich Boy. I love this watching off my desk. I love this so much. Get to my cartoons on here. Saturday I should be up with a bowl of cereal, watching some cartoons. My favorite is Tom and Jerry. Somebody, I subscribed to somebody on Facebook, or actually not subscribed, but you know what I mean, basically I'm following on Facebook, whatever. And they have they show all the old Tom and Jerry's back in the day. Man, I love that freaking channel.
Here's what's new for you today.
My favorite is Craig and the Creek. This is my all-time favorite. I love Craig and the Creek. I can't stand Frosted Flakes. I hate Frosted Flakes so much. It's not even funny how much I hate Frosted Flakes. It gets soggy so quick. It goes from cereal to oatmeal like in a couple of seconds. Some people like it. That's just them. I can never understand how people put fruit in their cereal. That's gross. I mean, to each his own. I understand that, but I can never understand that. My sisters would do that. Get some cornflakes and put some bananas in it. I never could understand that. Strawberries, all that stuff. Ugh. Couldn't get into that.
What's that kid doing up there? Why has he got so many rollerblades? Why is he?
He'll murder himself now. All right, people, I gotta go because I can't run this. It's all copyrighted material. Gotta go. Thank you all for your time. I can't wait to show off the new technology. Woo! Which will be soon. Man, you guys are going to have a ball with this FLE screen paint, man. This stuff is so much fun to work with. But anyway, I got to go. Hope you enjoyed. Be safe out there, and God bless. And, of course, we thank our Lord and Savior for blessing us with amazing technology. Got to go, and God bless.